Welcome to the podcast, Raw Lessons Revealed. I'm your host, Craig T. Ingram, coming to you live from Austin, Texas. You are about to hear raw, real, genuine, no-nonsense business and life lessons from a power couple who is literally known all over the world. Caroline Stanbury was born and raised in England, and she is a serial successful entrepreneur. Hollywood television celebrity who has starred in the hit TV shows Ladies of London and most recently, The Real Housewives of Dubai. Her husband, Sergio Carallo, is a serial entrepreneur as well after his very successful career playing soccer for football clubs like the Real Madrid and the L.A. Galaxy. He and Caroline have multiple businesses in multiple countries and in multiple industries, and those businesses are all flourishing. Maybe I can talk them into hiring me to support their commercialization efforts. By the way, on a side note, Sergio effortlessly can maneuver an ATV up, down, and all around the very high and steep sand dunes of Dubai. But in all fun, I did give him a run for his money with my background in motocross. He and I are definitely going to do that again next year when I'm back in Dubai. So Sergio, I'm coming back for round 2. You know, I've been very fortunate to spend multiple days with Caroline and Sergio. And let me tell you, they know everybody, not only in Dubai, but also in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. It is such an honor to be able to build a genuine relationship with this couple, learn from them, and also get to know them even more than what I do now. And so with that said, let's reveal the raw lessons they have for us. You know, I really want to take the time to ask you guys some questions because I'm fascinated with both of your stories. And so, Caroline, I know your dad was a venture capitalist. Your mom was, ran a clothing store. Sergio, your dad was a big tech entrepreneur as well, and in corporate America in California. So you guys come from that entrepreneur world, right? And business world. So what made each of you go into being an entrepreneur, instead of working in the corporate world?
Well, for me, corporate world wasn't. I went to boarding school since I was 6. And if you've been to boarding school, I basically got brought up in boot camp. And I think as soon as I could, I was desperate to get out and sort of not be told what to do. And the corporate world for me is just, again, like going to boarding school. You go in, you go out, you clock in. I knew that I'm not very good at following other people's rules. So I knew very early on that as soon as I could get out of school and out of being told what to do, I was going to do it. So I needed to find a job and quick that would allow me to do that so that I wouldn't have to rely on my parents either. So that's what sort of made me, I think, have the vision to be an entrepreneur.
I love that. For me, I think, my dad obviously, had a big influence on me because since little he always was there, supporting me and any decision that I wanted to do, he was there. But I think when I was playing soccer and I started, earning money since a very young age, and I realized the potential that I had, not just with soccer, with basically the connections and the person that I was becoming. And I think at an early age, I kind of realized that, that I couldn't make money outside soccer. And then slowly I was using my connections to break up, some deals and be a broker. And that really helped me to kind of see the value, of like everything around it. And then I think, I started doing some stuff and it slowly became, by accident, an entrepreneur.
Yeah. When you guys were growing up, did you guys work at all like in little businesses or with your parents or something like that and get a taste of that, business entrepreneur, action and spirit? Did you guys do that?
Well, my dad, my grandfather found that it had Alexon, which was one of the biggest in the, I think it was 70s clothing back in the day. So I think even the Queen came to visit. And when I was little, I used to walk up and down the boardroom table on the table and model clothes and have so much fun. So I always knew I wanted to be like a boss bitch. And then my mom is a spoiled puppy. She comes from a very, very well-known family. And the only thing she's ever done, which she had a cashmere and La Perla on Bond Street for, a few years, which she loved. And I went to work there for a few days, but they fired me because I was always rolled in drunk from the night before. So I wasn't very good at working for them. They didn't want me for long. And I used to bring my puppy to work, and my mom would be like, I'd have my head on the desk. She said, I'm scaring everybody. So she'd send me home.
Yeah.
That is funny.
For me, I think it came from my grandfather, actually, from my dad's side, because he was the founder of, until now, what is the most important business school in Spain, ESIC. And then I was listening to him a lot. When I was little, he teach me a lot. And then, my dad as well, he started like selling sandwiches and lots of different stuff. When he was telling me the story when he was, young. And slowly, I had that influence on them. But talking about the corporate world, so when I finished my master's, I had to do an internship. And because I knew one of the big guys in a luxury brand, I went into the corporate world. And honestly, I had to do it for the internship. I stayed three months, and I realized that wasn't for me. I didn't want to clock in, clock out. I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted, I just decided that I'd rather hustle, and instead of making 10 consistently, half a month making 6, 7, 5, 2, but with a vision of an end goal,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Mark Cuban saying, I'd rather make $90,000 a year working for myself than $290,000 a year working for somebody else. And it sounds like you guys have that same mindset. I love that.
100%. Because it's so much more rewarding, at the end when you really make it and you make the money by yourself.
Right.
And there's no better feeling in the world, to be honest,
And Sergio, you with your soccer background, you also have a background in like digital marketing, global management, stuff like that, right? From California.
Yeah. So I did international business degree, and then I went to masters, and I did media and global communication and digital marketing. Always specialized in the niche of business, but the marketing is my bread and butter. It's what really is my passion. I love marketing. I love creating content. I love engage with the people and see different ways to bring things to life.
We're very similar. My background, I went to Columbia in Chicago, and then I ended up getting at the University of Phoenix global international management MBA as well. So that's kind of funny how like we got the same degree. It's kind of interesting. So tell me a little bit. So I'm going to ask a really odd question, but very rarely people get asked this question, but I think it's really important. JT and I have a very similar trust and like genuine integrity mindset, right? If we see somebody doing something to potentially stab somebody in the back or something like that, like we're done. You know what I mean? And I know that can be kind of tough because the business world is kind of that way in some ways, at least here in the US. As ultra successful entrepreneurs, how do each one of you evaluate somebody that you're going to do business with?
That's a good question, actually.
I'll answer first because I'm the worst.
The worst.
I trust people, which is just awful, especially coming from where I am and what I do. I really shouldn't. And then afterwards I find, then you find out. But at the end of the day, you can't get that from a CV and you can't get that from an interview. I really don't believe that. I don't care what background checks you do or anything else until that person is in front of you and with you for an amount of time. You can't really see the truth. So, I mean, and if you've found the formula, please share, because I've been stabbed in the back a million times, but it doesn't stop me because I'd rather come from a place of trust and then, undo it, which I've learned now how to get out of things if I hate the person.
Yeah.
But go in with the best of intentions. And if it goes wrong, so be it. Then you've learned the lesson and goodbye to the other person.
100%. I think it's always about human connection. And I think me personally, I have a a bit of like a capability of reading people in a way that I can kind of like see where they're going, because it happens to a lot to us. A lot of people come to us for different things, and sees more like on the go, look at this opportunity, and me, I'm more on the out, like from the back helicopter situation, saying, honey, like, I just don't see this, But I think we kind of try to evaluate these things together. But it's just always hard, to be honest, because as well, I've been, stabbed on the back so many times with amazing projects.
And we live in Dubai. So there's a lot of
everybody comes here
in Dubai.
And you think they're extremely successful. And in reality, they just, you don't know. You don't know, because nowadays it's so easy to just, hide everything, and everything looks amazing from the outside. But in reality, there is nothing behind,
Do you ever put people through like little tests and put them in a little bit of hot water? I always say people are like tea bags. You put them in a little hot water and you see what comes out, right?
Yeah.
And you guys ever put people through little tests?
Feel free to teach me. Teach me your ways. I'd love to throw people in some hot water.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I look forward to hanging out with you guys for a few days. So that'll be very fun. So last question, moving into 2024 and beyond, are you guys planning on doing anything as like a joint venture? Because I know that, Caroline, you still are doing your brand ambassador and your podcasts and all that type of stuff. And Sergio, you're working on some things as well. Have you guys thought about doing anything together and working on any projects?
We're doing a wellness brand together. So unfortunately, it was a bit delayed because they screwed up the wrap, but the shrink wrap, there you go. That's for being a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So we're doing a wellness brand together. Sergio actually is the machine behind my brands and everything, because he does all the marketing. So all my social media, everything, he does all the mechanics behind it, and comes up with all the content and films it and does all that. So that's great. And then we are doing Bali together. That's another one that we're doing together, which is really exciting.
Building there, yeah.
I remember you guys saying that at the Global Net Worth.
Yeah. I mean, we do so many other things, but it works very well, because at the end of the day, I have so many connections from soccer and from the world I'm coming from, that I kind of like feed them to Caroline, and then Caroline, because of her expertise, she's able to really, close them. So, it's interesting because, we have so many other stuff, and, it's amazing how she really, like has different capabilities than myself.
We've got a show coming back. We've got my podcast. So, he does all of that. We've got, I've written a book. We've got the stuff with JT. We're going to tour with JT again. So we're going to do another one in March. That's without all the stuff that we have to do for Housewives. Then we've got Bali. Then we've got so much on our plates that it's like, and we've got 3 kids now.
There's like so many things just in the house itself,
Yeah. So and then Bust the Label's launching. So it's
quite crazy.
It's going, even though the gummies and all of that aren't ready, the rest of it's going really, really well. We're not really doing anything yet. So I can't even wait to see what happens when we actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, I thank you guys so much for chatting with me. It's good to chat with you. And I just want to say thank you. Every time I message you guys on Instagram, you guys respond virtually immediately. So thank you for your kindness in that. And look forward to hanging out with you guys here in about 4 weeks. So
yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you again, y'all.
All right, thank you
so much.
Bye.
Bye now. Wow. Well, those are our raw lessons revealed to us on this episode from a power couple who fit into the category of ultra successful serial entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening and taking notes, so that together we can apply those principles that Caroline and Sergio mentioned in our businesses. Getting these ultra successful people on a podcast like this to be interviewed is not easy. They have to vet people out to make sure that they are the real deal. And thankfully, I have built a long-standing reputation on this earth as someone who has no ulterior motive, but to only learn from some of this planet's most successful people in business and in life. Please join us on our next podcast, where we will have and keep having access to more high net worth serial entrepreneurs, CEOs, and Hollywood celebrities scheduled to be on the podcast to share with you and I what it takes to actually be super successful in business and in life. And would you be willing just to take 7 to 10 seconds and please comment, and give 5 stars to this podcast on the platform where you are listening, and subscribe for more raw lessons revealed. See you next episode.